So, this is a question that I heard about last month every day. Every single day. My friends, colleague, my parents asking me how I won the APL problem-solving competition. And now the time is to answer. So, how I heard about the context. I received an email, and on my when I download student listens version of program, I mention my email, and so I receive this letter, where was saying this is a contest for people who love a challenge and learning new things for fun. I think it's completely about me. So, but when I follow the link, I find out that the competition is open for students and non-students, but prizes only for students. And I was really a little bit astonishment, I don't know how to say it, because on the moment when I received this letter, I was a student. It was in beginning of June, so almost a month from this time I was a student. But in the end, I already graduated. So first of all, and sometimes it's made in the end, but I won't make it right now. Acknowledgement, of course. APL Dyalog. Dyalog command is very impressed me about the decision to invite me in this year, and I was completely shocked when I saw that I'm one of the winners, because when I started to participate, I just think about this like a fun time spending, something like that, because I read the rules, and there was mentioned that non-students can't receive any prizes. So, okay, why it's can be some, but it can break my courage. I will participate just for fun. And of course, I want to thank my employer, SimCorp, who make and transfer me here in UK and back, I hope. And they very support me, and I'm still only a student helper, but they give me a rare chance to attend this unique user meeting. So this is how I solved my problem. I use this table just for my internal using, because it was many problems, as you see, and I can forget what I solved, why not, what didn't. But as you see, the green is that I have solved, and the red that I'm not. So I put in my slides information, all information about these tasks, but you can read only what said. I try to use it. Write an APL functions is very useful because some tasks contain a very general information, but this paragraph exactly say what you need to do. Thank you, Brian. So what we need in the first task, first of the all tasks, so it's count, it's here. We just have some input, exactly a text and a pattern, and we need to count how much pattern appears in our text. So what can be easier? That's all. And when I solve this first problem, I think, whoa, it's so cool. I think phase 2 will be even easier than first. Yeah, of course. When I open the second problem, I come down to earth very quickly. It wasn't very hard to solve, but it harder, I think. Now we need to find most frequent of k-mer's length of 4, for example, but this argument may change. And I make detailed information how I solve it, because I hope this presentation will be submitted, I think, on the Dyalog site, and every next participants or people who want to learn more about APL will download it and find out many useful information about this year context and how solve the tasks, because many times you can see a code, very nice code, but it you can't understand what exactly person who wrote it mean. So I tried to explain every single line, but only for a few of tasks. So we need to divide our initial text on parts of specified length, and we make this using this operator, reduce, I think. Oh, I'm sorry, wise, yes? And wise, thank you. And what we obtain, of course, we obtain these pieces of text, and this is all whole text, and using outer product, inner product, outer product. Thank you. Outer product. We can find out on what place we obtain our patterns or something like that. And using this matrix, we can count how much each pattern appear, how much times each pattern appear in our text. And this is the vector of appearances, I think, which we need to most frequent, as said in the header, and we use maximum, I think, yeah. Compare with the maximum of this vector, and this will be 3. And why we wrote row subsequence is for avoiding these 3 nulls, because when we trying to find out a 4 elements pattern, we can't find out in 3 elements. And finally, my function is looking like that, because I can make some changes, and for example, string named S or subsets like sub just, but I like simply understandable code, and I know that codes is running and executed by computer, of course, but it always wrote for people. So somebody who will read this, I think, will be appreciate me for these names. The same was approximate pattern matching problem, is already a middle difficulty, and it was a little bit more compacted, I think. The same logic is implemented here. We use n-wise. Yeah. It was very simple for the first one, so I just highlight the main points of this code, whatever. And the next one, this was what Brian told me to say. It was one problem that I corrected, because when I ran in my function, it gave me this output, and I was surprised, and only one thing that I can make is wrote a letter to find out who is right. So it was me. But really, I wrote several letters, and mostly people from Dialog explain me how I need to understand the problem, because not always it was clear for me. This will be interesting because this is one of the problems that I make a detailed observation, I think. Okay, what we have? We have a matrix of characters and some vector of words. Yeah, and we want to know in what direction this word is presented in this matrix, and what initial coordinates of this first coordinate of first letter in word. So it was a problem that I solved very carefully, because I think this will be very easy, because it's a low difficulty. Why not? But it wasn't. Let's see. Okay, we have this matrix, and we want to find the word in this. I used an E, symbol E and underline. And we use this symbol and for matrix, and we obtain a position only if we search in east direction, from left to right. In this case, everything fine, and we find a word, and if everything works. So we can use in rotate and transposition. We can search in every 4 main directions: north, west, east, and south. So but we need all 8 directions. What we're supposed to do in this case? Here I will demonstrate for northeast direction, but it's simple for another 3. So using these operators, we can obtain next matrix, and to view a difference, I wrote this line. So this was the end, and this has become the end. So transpose word becomes in east direction now, but we remember that it's in northeast direction in our initial matrix. And we can find each word in this direction using these operators. But what will be when we find something word from our list on this line? We find them, and we will think that it's right, but in our initial matrix there is no such word. So it doesn't work. Second step. And again this word, and now I carefully think about what I must do and obtain such a great figure. And again, transpose is here in east direction, everything fine. But what we need to do to obtain this figure, we obviously need to put something in these areas, because if we want to use rotate, it must be something characters. So I put there zeros. Okay. So now it's my matrix becomes such form. I again apply these operators, and now I can search this word correctly. Yeah, but when I implement this, I think about that the transpose is it even only one mismatches is give me that there is no such word. So why should I save in memory all these zeros? it doesn't haven't any sense. It only needs one character to avoid a problem with unreal words. Let them think so. So we not obtain such mistakes again. And what's solution? This solution is was really strict with very straightforward, I think, because there is a loop for each words in our word list, and we check if this word contains in this direction for every word. And when I obtained this piece of code, first my think was, oh my god, people from Dyalog will create for me a black book of participants, I think, because this is unbelievable. No, I can't submit my solution with this kind of code. So what I did instead, I create a matrices of all 8 directions, and try and applied an include to each word. So I made it in 1-2-line code. I don't put it in my slide, but I can show you. Well, this is these 2 lines. But there is another side of medal. I think it's going la 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 la. Na, 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 na. Yeah, and I wrote this all in my comments that I really understand this a really long string of codes, but it's better than this. I think, because it's really more API-like code, but it's really long. So, now the problem that I can't handle with, so it was getting wordy. It's problem with this. I can't. I don't understand how to use system functions, unfortunately. And I'm hoping that someone from this user meeting will help me with this. So maybe I will handle with this in future. And it did distance. But now, after Emil's presentation, I understand how easy it was for him, of course. And of course I saw this article in Wikipedia, but it doesn't help me because the common algorithm is really use a matrix and indexes, but I didn't get how to apply this algorithm using APL. So thank you for your attention. Any questions?
For the word search problem, I find it frequently find it useful, even when you have a so-called non-APL solution. It's useful because you can test your later APL solution against that first one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I really loved how you went from the zero padding on the transpose and the word search to using that line.
Separate symbol.
The separate symbol, yeah. But was there something that you did interactively in APL that led to that insight, or did you just have that insight entirely in your own genius? And yeah. I
think I say what exactly I think at that moment when I implement this, because this was a way of my thoughts. I make some mistakes, I learn on this, and I understand how avoid this in the future. So that's all.
I think you told me you've only been into APL 4 months.
Yes.
Wow. What other programming background have you had?
I have 2 years, about 2 years in university. I learned C++, but this is all, I think. And I forget to mention that I was a participant. It was in the article, so I forget about this right now. But I was a participant of SimCorp Ukraine courses about APL in Ukraine in February, March of this year. This was a really, really good course for beginner, because exactly there I take my basic level of this, and now I'm here. So I really appreciate SimCorp employees who was our teachers.
Do you think you're going to be having some more fun with APL?
Of course. APL is always fun. Thank you.